Alice, it's been forever.
I know, long time.
How we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, to be fair. I'm just trying to be positive. I feel like I'm so fed up with being negative about everything. But I'm like, we dropped points to Burnley. We've got 3 points from Burnley, Leeds and Wolves, which is shocking. We've got City and Arsenal next in the league. But I was like, we saw a better performance.
That is what it is.
Won. Lacey almost scored a screamer. Like, things have been so bad that I'm accepting the we nearly won. I'm just so fed up of being negative. I just need something to be positive about. But I'm got concerns, of course.
Yeah, I see yesterday. I'm just moving all the camera slots and whatever. But I don't know, man. I'm such a reactionary fan. I can't look past that we drew to Burnley, no matter who's in charge. And this is even today. Like, I'm seeing stuff by Liège and people online, and I want to get behind this whole. Like, there should be improvements. We had 24 shots, 8 of them on target. I'd say Sesko could have had a hat trick. He's got the same amount of goals as Højlund as last year's. There's small improvements, but how much is it really? Can you really take a positive from a team that's in the bottom 3? I ask these questions and say it was thoroughly entertaining, created a lot of clear-cut chances, but it's like trying to measure up against the 4-1 against Wolves for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Without sounding too negative. You know, I think Shea Lacey is the biggest positive in that whole game.
And probably Sesko scoring, but they
were good finishers, to be fair. They were class up, I'd say.
It's a tough one because we hit the woodwork twice. Aiden Heaven probably should have scored his header.
That free header, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, you got Dorgu's shot cleared off the line, Cunha's shot cleared off the line. Burnley's first goal was the flukiest deflection ever that goes in the back of the net. That won't happen again this season. Their second goal was their first shot on target, which was a banger, but it came out of nowhere. It's actually like they scored with their first shot on target was their second goal, made about 2 goal line clearances. It was like, if I compared that to the 1-1 draw versus Wolves, performance was a million times better. Like, but it is Burnley. Like, we've got Arsenal, City and Brighton. They're actual teams. They're actual tests. You know, versus Burnley, when we played them at home, to be fair, we fluked to win versus Burnley at home this season with the Bruno penalty.
Was that the 3-2? Was 3-2. It? Yeah. Jaden Anthony also scored in that game.
Burnley had a fair goal ruled out. It was like offside, but was it offside? And then Bruno got a bit of a penalty. But that first half at home to Burnley, we created so many chances, couldn't put the ball in the back in there. Then we're shocking in that second half at home to Burnley and fluke to win. I do think this performance versus Burnley, despite not winning, it was probably a slightly better performance, but I'd rather win and play worse.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with all of this. I think yesterday, again, I'm going to go off the first half especially, right? I think it's this knack, and I don't know if it's the mentality of the players. I think it's so easy to point to the mentality and just say, you know what, some of these players' IQs might just not be there, or their legs just don't move as fast as they used to. I think Casemiro's performance yesterday is a reminder of why we shouldn't be keeping him on further than this season. He's had a good season, might not have been his best game, but if Agate's outshining you in a role where it's required to be an actual double pivot, you'd think an extra midfielder would actually help. How can Casemiro look better in a 2-man midfield than a 3-man midfield all of a sudden, right? He needs the legs around him, or I don't know, there's extra legs around him so he can perform to that small degree, that extra 10% that I think that we need. And it's just,
once a week, and you can see it in his legs. When he was playing once a week, he was all right. Sometimes he'd drop off towards the end of games, but the last 4 games have sort of been every 3 days, and we're back to the Casemiro we saw last season that weren't great. As soon as you play him once a week, he's all right.
Yeah, I think yesterday's evident that we need to really go out there in this January window, and they need to consider. Now we're going to this 3-man midfield. They're going for 3-man midfield managers, that we need the extra midfielder. If there's 100%. Rumours about Ugarte leaving, there's rumours even about Xerxes still leaving. You can ideally, in a world, say, okay, if Xerxes leaving, you might be able to class him as an attacking mid more than a striker, because you've got players in 1 game a week, Cunha's and Mbeumo's that can play there. If Shea Lacey's that extra body, then surely you have to go out there and think, what can we go and secure? Because every time you look at United and think this top 4 is ready for us or something like that, and we can go and make gain 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points better than what Liverpool are at the moment. You look at yesterday's game, I say, look at the difference between when Mason Mount and Kobbie Mainoo were in the midfield and how quick we're moving the ball forward.
We were better in that second half, 100%. Like, I think obviously we dropped our heads right after the goal and then we made it 2-2. But I do think the football we played in the second half was better. It was quicker. We were better on the ball. I do think we're a little bit more defensively vulnerable, but I'd rather we be defensively vulnerable and better going forward than like just sitting back and not doing anything going forward. Like, I think the only thing I can maybe see is maybe Mount or Bruno do play in one of the deeper roles next to Casemiro or Guy or Mbeumo, but I'd rather us go and sign an actual midfielder that can hold down, have Kobbie next to him, and then you've got Bruno or Mount to play more advanced. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'd rather have than, play Bruno or Mount deeper.
Well, this is where I look at someone like João Gomez. I think he's the only realistic option to go and get. If you're talking about 40 millions, who's available in these markets that you can go and attain, I think Wolves have accepted they're getting relegated. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit too far stretched for them, as much as they might have hopes and never say die kind of attitude. But if João Gomez is there for 40 million, which we've been heavily linked with, I think he's someone that helps us tremendously just because of legs, the way he moves the ball. I couldn't tell you if he's really a 6, but you put him someone like next to Kobbie, you think, yeah, that should be good enough or stable enough, because we do look very vulnerable. There was times yesterday where Burnley would just have one player like Edwards or who I can't remember. I think it's Ukachukwu, and they just run right through the middle of our.
The lack of legs was exposed.
Neves is not a bad shout, I'd say, but Neves and legs don't.
But yeah, the physical side, that's the only concern. And I think physicality is needed. We need technicality, but Mbeumo is very technical in that sense. That I think physicality is probably a little bit more of a use to us, especially when you think of the ground coverage in midfield. So Gomez probably makes sense.
I've got a one in my I think he's got 6 months unless they trigger a year, apparently. I don't know if they can or can't. James Garner.
I'm not against it. He's very, how Arsenal brought in Subamende and Norgard this summer? He's very Norgard. Like someone that, realistically in the summer, let's say we get Elliot Anderson and Baleba, great. He's like the Norgard, do you know what I mean? And I'm open to having him to be like that sort of depth option, but I don't think he's good enough to be the long-term guy. But I think as a third choice, I think he's a very good option to have to improve the depth.
Well, who would you? All right, cool. If it came down to it, because we've got to think of January. Manu Kone, Ramo, he's not going to be available, maybe, and that's a maybe until the summer, unless there was a swap deal with Xerxes. But I doubt it because of how well they're doing under Gasperini. I just think it has to be João Gomez or. In this January window, you have to go and put some sort of you've got to go out and put some sort of effort into trying to recruit somebody, because you've got potentials of Casemiro is definitely going. Bruno Fernandes is, we don't know yet. Ugarte, I don't think he's got a future at this club, right? And there's a lot of rumors around Ajax, Galatasaray, a lot of these other clubs that will probably fork out 30 million for his signature. That's 3 midfielders that are missing just like that. You can't just tell us, oh yeah, Jack Fletcher's good enough to fill that role, because he's not. He's not physically ready for it. And I don't think he's technically ready for it either at this moment of time. I don't really want to see them. But if Kobbie Mainoo's back, I think Kobbie Mainoo coming back, we need... Well, look what he did yesterday. Look at the way he bullied Ukachukwu as soon as he came on the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, people are pretending he was bad because, the Amorim sexuals are like saying he was really bad, but I thought the Kobbie was good. I thought he was pretty good, to be honest.
Did you see that Matty? Like he seems like a very positive guy, yeah. And a lot of people have issues with him, and I understand what it is. But there's a line that you don't draw. You're winning, we're losing 1-0 to Burnley due to a freak deflection that went over everybody and went in just our luck, right? And he's posting videos about, oh, hey, look, I was right, you lot were wrong, base overall.
So one game is the flukiest deflection ever. That's another level of shameless. I can't lie.
But he's meant to be a Man United fan, and you're celebrating the fact that, you know, like just because Amrin got sacked, who you was very in favor of, whether it was right or wrong, this Matty FC guy, right? And because you done a couple interviews with all the players and you got in with I just don't understand the position of this fan base. Like I'm trying to become more objective rather than reactionary at times, right? And I just think, like, you know what, don't do too much.
15th place, Grimsby, Tottenham, couldn't be a 10-man Everton, 1-1 at home to Wolves. Do you know what confuses me is this? There's like an Amarin cult on Twitter. And like the minute you say something about Amarin bad, they all come at you. And I'm like, I would get it if Amarin was as good as Sir Alex Ferguson. I get it. But I was like, Amarin came 15th and he's got this cult of fans and there were so many of them online that they wanted us to drop points to Burnley. And they were, every time Cobby misplaced a pass, they had to tweet about it. And then they were trying to make out that Shea Lacey was bad because he didn't score and he wasted chances. It's like Amarin's built a cult. And I'm quite confused because I'm like, had Amarin won the Europa League, came 4th last season, and we sacked him, fair enough, having a cult. But this guy had a 32% win rate. And if you criticise him, you're toxic, yet these same people were celebrating the fact that we didn't beat Burnley because it makes Amarin look better. And I just like, did I fancy him? Like, is it because he's an all right looking lad? Like, I just called him the Amarin sexuals because I'm like, what has he done for this cult? It's like Ten Hag didn't have a cult like this.
No, it didn't. No, Ollie had a cult like this, though, to be fair. But there's good reason probably behind that because of what's it called, sentimental value. But for me, again, I liked Amarin personally. I'll be honest, I really liked his personality. Yeah. I think he was class. I just think his stubbornness is what drew him out a little bit too much. And he even admitted that at times he's a little bit too honest. Maybe
I like
too honest in English.
Yeah.
But I think the way he did it was probably wrong. He might still be in a job, but there was no guarantees that you can sit there and think, yeah, you know what's going to happen. If Amarin was in charge, we're beating Burnley. I don't know if we get those two sort of chances that we scored against Burnley and the amount of chance that we created under Amarin because of the 3-5-2. Yes. My whole thing is with Fletcher yesterday was he changed it too late. I know Dorgu created off the left, but really and truly should have been off the right. Cunha was so ineffective, even though he was the pass before to Bruno to make sure he gets in on set for Sesko. I think it was Bruno, was it Agate? But for me, it was like we could have done a lot more if Cunha was on the other side. He went in the 10 and he had Bruno off the right. This is the issue with let's just call them interims or caretakers that ain't exactly managed men's football at a high level. And I think that's when you're gonna get those sort of mistakes. But I like Fletcher's subs. I hope Heaven's actually all right, to be fair. But I thought Euro came on and was done pretty well. But we lost to I'm not going to call it a loss. We drew to the fact of a lapse of one part of concentration, and that actually sums up this whole team, in my opinion. This whole season, one lapse in concentration, and we're getting. I feel so sorry for Sen Lamans. How can this man do up all the double saves in the world? And you're getting packed in by some of the best shots and goals I've ever seen in the Prem consistently, and it's all against us.
That Jadon Anthony goal was a banger. Like, what happened? He doesn't do that any other game. He plays Man United.
It's just Man United.
Out of nowhere. Like, that was their first shot on target because the first goal was obviously a fluky own goal. I was like, your first shot on target, you've done nothing all game but watch us hit the bar and make goal line clearances and have a fair goal ruled out. And then you go and do that. And I was like, nah, this like something was. I felt like we were cursed watching that game. I felt like we were cursed because I'm just annoyed we didn't win, to be honest, because I feel like we've done enough to win. You know, like versus West Ham when we were 1-0 up and we made it 1-1.
Yeah.
West Ham made it 1-1. I was fuming. But I was like, oh, we deserve that because we were crap in that West Ham game. Like, we deserve that. It's annoying when you drop points, but you actually feel like Arsenal first game of the season. I was saying we did not deserve to lose to Arsenal first game of the season. And it's another one of those where I'm like, I don't feel like we deserve to lose. Like, I felt like cursed, but I just sort of hope that like if you create more chances and the luck doesn't go your way one game, hopefully, it does balance out. But this is a one-game size versus Burnley. Like, I don't know what Fletcher's going to be like. He's an interim, and as you said, Dorgo on the left, Cunha on the right is probably his biggest mistake. I think he got most of his calls correct. Like, you couldn't have started Cobby if he's just come back. You couldn't have started Mount if he's just come back.
Yeah.
Bruno probably had to come off.
Bruno, I'm going to sit here right now. What's your take on Bruno Fernandes? Because I remember we had a... do you remember we done that thing with George?
Oh, yeah.
George Killian, and I was very not in favour of Bruno Fernandes.
Was Maddison better than Bruno?
The Maddison stuff, right? I can't lie. These few games that he ain't been there, I miss him. I genuinely look at him. I just like think of the creations of what players are available, and I don't think many can do what he does. And if you surround him with correct legs, like now we're going to get into a position of this, and this is going to be the annoying part. You give him willing runners, Mbeumo on the right, Ahmad on the left, vice versa. It doesn't matter. Sesko, for what he was doing, his confidence just shone in the space of 5 minutes. I think his overall game's actually been improved. I want to talk about it for a bit. Yeah. No, was it? We'll talk about that. Tim Sherwood. If you give him Balebas, Whartons and stuff like that, I think you just get an absolute phenomenal Bruno that we should have probably built around 5 years ago.
Like, imagine if Bruno went to Man City 5 years ago. Like, imagine De Bruyne wasn't around and Bruno went to Man City 5 years ago. Like, with Haaland and that. Like, I've always said with Bruno, like, I don't think Bruno was brilliant at times last season and under Amorim, but he's not a deep midfielder. Like, everyone knows that. You put Bruno in the 10 role, you give him some half-decent players around him. Like, the best of Bruno was when he came in, lockdown period. You had Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, like Bruno in the 10. You had like players like Pogba that he could link up with as well. You look at the 5-1 win to Leeds. You look at the brilliant run we went on when Ollie brought Bruno in during lockdown, NHS Martial. When Bruno has some decent runners around him, this guy is a stat padding machine. But it's just like, when you look at Newcastle, we beat Newcastle, but we were 10 times better when we lost to Aston Villa than we were when we beat Newcastle performance-wise. Sometimes things go your way. We created nothing versus Newcastle. We were atrocious versus Wolves. Versus Leeds, I thought we were a bit better, but we weren't doing enough. Like, Bruno comes on the pitch, 3 big chances created in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Like, it's not normal. Like, even if he gives the ball away, even if he's so frustrating at times, like, he makes things happen. And I always said that, like, Salah isn't, always aesthetically the best player, but he'd win Liverpool games. He'd get that goal. He'd get that assist. And sometimes every team needs one player where maybe they're not the best aesthetically. Maybe they're frustrating, but they're a game winner. And that's what Bruno's got. Yeah,
I totally agree. We got a half-fit Bruno on the pitch, and he done more creation in that than I've seen Cunha do. Cunha looks like he needs a Bruno to play with as well.
Yeah,
we have to be honest. He's been off the pace the last couple of games. I think he's a bit tired personally. He kind of looks off of it, slightly like that. That little burst. I think he's playing pretty much majority of every minute.
Do you think he's trying to do it all himself? Because you think when we had Ligt, there was no one good really, and then Xerxes comes on, and Xerxes the first guy to play a half decent pass to Cunha, and he scores. And I sometimes think with Cunha, like, he's not passing the ball, and that's frustrating. But it's like, who do you want to?
He needs someone to work off of, because you look at who his partners were. He had Nori on the left, who he used to provide his overlaps, and then the other one, he had a great hold-up striker in the likes of Strand Larsen.
And now,
you know what I mean?
Last couple games before today, he was having to play it to Dorgo or Dalot, because Dorgo and Dalot, half our best chances keep falling to at the moment. I was like, no wonder he ain't passing the ball. Like, Cunha is sometimes really good, sometimes stinks it up, but I'm like, he just needs some good players around him. Like, Phil Foden's a really good example of that. When Man City are good, Phil Foden is great. When Man City are rubbish, Phil Foden hides. For England, Phil Foden hides.
Like yesterday.
Like, he ghosts Casper the Ghost. Like, Cunha, I feel like, is one of those players that he needs somebody to link up with him to get the best out of him.
Yeah, he does. And that's why it's key to kind of lock down we'll talk about it later, but the caretaker manager for one, and two, it's relationships on the pitch. I think there's one thing with Amorim that he done well, in my opinion, was bring the morale up. I don't think no one down-tooled him. But the one thing that didn't get created on the pitch were relationships, I found. The only relationship I think we might have saw in glimpses was probably Mbeumo and Ahmad.
Yeah,
and that was by force that had to happen because these two players are very good, and I missed them very badly. So
yeah.
hopefully Mbeumo gets knocked out tomorrow by Morocco.
What do you think? Because we don't have a left winger, so realistically, one of them, Bruno and Ahmed,
Cunha's got to go over there. Yeah, it's probably got. See, that's such a difficult question. Oh.
I feel like I was thinking about this, but as I was looking at Ahmed AFCON, and then I was looking at maybe Rafinha, how he went from a right wing to a left wing, and I was like, that would probably suit Mbeumo more. To go left.
I saw Mbeumo go left wing. Well, on the other side, the left attacking mid. Let's call it that, right? In one of the games, and it was very confusing. I can't remember what game it was.
I know what you're talking about, but we kept like switching around, didn't we? It was one of the earlier games.
I think we're going to see I think it don't matter if it's Ollie or Carrick. I don't think we're going to see Sesko as much on the pitch. I can see in a world where it's always going to be a 4-2-3-1. Bruno's has to go in a 10. I think it's just got to be a rotating 3. But if you had to tell me, either get Ahmad, who's more of a playmaking winger off the left, and he can still do whatever he wants to do, and then Mbeumo off the right, because you want him to start shooting. That's the way I view him, is cutting and shoot. But the thing is with Ahmad, he's got his knack of being very confusing, like where he's on the right hand side where you don't know what direction he's going to go.
Like, not to compare them, but like Ahmad is a bit more like Yamal and Mbeumo is a bit more like Rafinha. Like nothing really like them, but do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking Rafinha was a right winger, but then Yamal came in, so Rafinha moved to the left. Like that's the way I'm trying to look at it. Barcelona have 2 left foot wingers. I feel like Mbeumo is someone that can spam maybe crosses in a bit better than Ahmad. But Mbeumo has that Salah bit about him where he just loves to cut in on the left on his cutting on the right.
He's got a really good cross as well, though. He likes that cross from deep that, I think we could thrive off of. But if Mbeumo, maybe against Brighton, we might see a Sesko, Mbeumo, Cunha off the left type situation. Fletcher's going to be in charge again. I don't personally want to see Dorgu on the left-hand side.
I want to see him in a left back in a back 4 at one point, because he does that for Denmark very well.
Yeah, I think he looked yesterday. He looked like more of an attacking left back more than an attacking left winger.
I know, it's mad.
I think he's definitely improving, but I just don't think he's Man United quality to be a starter in the 11. That's just my personal opinion. I think Dorgu has to go left back to just shore himself up.
Potential. I think he's only 20. I think that's the one thing we forget with that is I look at Dorgu and I think he's for the future. But like we kind of brought him in, we were desperate, we need an instant impact now. Like I think Dorgu could be good enough for Man United, but I think he needs like a year or 2 to kind of develop if you know what I mean. Like
I hear it.
But
I just don't like his clunkiness personally when on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, at least he looks a little bit more, I don't know, look like he's more competent. Fluid, I think on the left, he looks so. Again, he might have got one of our assists, but you got to look at the all-round game. It's clunky in possession for me, anyways. It's too backwards, not enough forwards until Bruno's screaming at him. Yeah, it's too predictable, and that's my only issue with him at the moment. That's why I can't really see him as a left winger, a left back overlapping. I think he can develop a good enough relationship with Acuna on that side when he cuts in. I can get behind that.
Yeah,
I think on the right hand side, I can't wait to see the back of Delo.
Oh, do you know what annoys me more than anything?
Horrible. He's a horrible I'm sorry, people, man. I know you might be your favourite, but he's a horrible footballer, man.
It's the fact that our best chances seem to fall to him game after game. Not today, but versus Leeds and his shooting. Like when Delo and Agate shoot, I want to turn off my TV. They're the 2 players. I mean, Casemiro had some stinkers of some shots yesterday.
Oh my God, the first one was no. Was it a cross?
I don't even know. He kicked it out about 4 times, Casemiro.
He did.
But like Dalot in the final third, it's just I'm just like, no, don't shoot. You know the game that Ten Hag got sacked when Dalot missed an open goal and he skied it versus West Ham, the shot versus Leeds. Dalot are just so painful because he gets in really good areas and you think, wow, if you had a really good attacking right back, they score that. Dalot, miss. I think Dalot's got decent physical levels, decent technical levels. He works hard, but Dalot is a squad player. Like, do you know what I mean?
Max.
The way I would describe Dalot is just very like 6 out of 10. Like, I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's Man United level.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know what it is? I've got a mad agenda against players that have been there for like nearly 10 years. Luke Shaw, Delo, they all got to go. I think their mentality's in the bin.
How is
They've been a part
Shaw
of.
still here?
I don't know how Shaw's here, even though he's been good this season for his standard, I suppose.
Yeah.
But for me, it's you've been here way too long. Delo's been here way too long for me. I think again, it's just I think he's a confidence merchant. I have a big problem with confidence merchants. I don't think he's got mentality for me. And I know this is the part where people don't want to hear it, but this is just me. I just think there's nothing as a fullback that he offers that's actually beneficial unless you're coming on the pitch to be, I don't know, someone that's going to see out a game maybe. I look at Mazraoui and I look at someone who's a bit more special on the ball as an inverted fullback or 1-2s or comfortable in receiving possession. The Mazraoui might not be an accomplished crosser of the ball or whatever, but it's what there's. I can see some 8s or 9s out of 10s in his games where it's like you can utilize that. With Delo, I don't know what he's got that's an 8 or 9 out of 10 in terms of ability on the ball because he overhits crosses for me, like yesterday. Or when he's about to be fair, no, he put in one good cross. I'll admit to him, that's the 1 out of 10 because he slipped a bit and he dinked it. Someone should have been there. I think someone was there, to be fair. But I think it might have been Sesko and it was just not enough power in it. But it's just
inconsistent.
His positioning really irks me. Like yesterday with Casemiro, look at the first goal that they've got, right? Casemiro switched off. Delo did not pressure his man quick enough. And Aiden was like, oh crap, I've got to get over there. And reacted very slowly. I've seen that time and time after again with Delo. I don't think he talks enough with players because he's waiting to get spoken to do his job. That's the way I feel about him.
It's just like, I remember Mazraoui in a back four.
Leeds goal. Do you remember Leeds goal? People blame heaven. Go look at what Delo did. He just gave away the ball straight away and he just landed to his
positioning and he's given away the ball has been at fault for so many goals. And I look at the first Ten Hag got 3 months last year before he was sacked. But those 3 months, Mazraoui was our best player. Do you remember we're like Mazraoui 14 million? And then obviously Mazraoui got turned into a wing back and then he's had some injury issues. And we know that Mazraoui's not wing back. In a back four, Mazraoui is an absolutely mint right back and he is a level head of Delo. And then I think left back is something that needs to be done in the summer. Like in the summer, we're looking at 3 midfielders, a left back and a left winger, realistically. I would love, he's had some injury issues, but I would love Lewis Hall. I don't think Newcastle.
I'm with you on that one. I'm so with you. They're definitely not going to let him go. I don't think Newcastle want to sell to Prem teams if they can't. They wouldn't mind selling probably a player to, I don't know, a Forest, an Everton or something, but not to us lot, especially not to us lot.
Yeah, especially with Livramento being linked to City. Like, they want to keep on to both. But I look at Lewis Hall, and he's had some fitness issues, but for me, he's better than Lewis Skelly. He's better than Nico O'Reilly, all the players he gets compared to. When I actually, watch him, I actually think that he's got the highest ceiling, and I think he's unreal, and I would love him, but I don't think we're going to get him. I think there's a player in Harry Amas, but I think he would need another year on loan to develop.
I agree. I'm starting to shift my thing with Harry Amas. He just needs to understand the physicality of the game a little bit, and then I can see someone that can thrive. He's very technically assured. I like that. But
with Alvaro, you know how Alvaro, we never played him. Absolute joke what we did. But if we'd have loaned him to Benfica and then brought him back, I feel like Harry Amas is going to need another year. Alvaro probably should have played because we were playing Amrabat and Lindelof at left back and it was a joke. And I don't even know why we didn't even play him. But maybe Alvaro just wasn't quite ready. He needed a year and a half at Benfica to develop. I feel like Harry Amas it reminds me a little bit of Alvaro in the sense of, I think give him another year on loan in the Championship at a better side. Maybe in a year and a half's time, he could be.
I really miss fullbacks that can cross. That can put a ball in from deep and it causes all sorts of problems. And I just don't know what.
When did we last have one of those?
Borthwick Jackson?
Maybe. Alex Tellers was meant to be that guy.
No, he had 19 shot. He had 19 power. He could never get it up. I swear on my life. He was so weak defensively. There's one player that I do like, right? Leif Davies is a shout.
Oh, Ipswich, yeah. And
I look at sometimes players in the Championship who thrive off crossing, because I look at the Premier League, if you want experience anyways, I just don't think there's anything out there for what I'd prefer, but that's attainable at that. Wolves don't have it. Burnley don't have it. You know, you keep looking up the table and think, what can you get? Obviously, Forest, I don't want to go anywhere near us. Ex-Scouser in Williams, he's not even left-footed either. Nico Williams. I can't think. Honestly, I'm actually lost. I like Ian Maatson personally. Just don't know if he's levels. But I think Leif Davies is someone that's. I think he's just got a mean whip on him. I wish Robinson was. Someone said it there earlier. I wish he was a little bit younger.
Yeah,
I do like Bournemouth's left back as well, but they ain't gonna sell another one after 1 year. No chance.
no, like the left backs are gone because Kirker's got snapped up. Nori was who I liked in the summer. He got snapped up. Like there was a few good left backs, and then they all kind of got snapped up last year. And so for me, the best option is Lewis Hall, but like Newcastle just tell us to absolutely.
They're asking 80 million for Livramento. The amount they're gonna ask for Lewis Hall, who's also a Newcastle fan.
Yeah, I don't think we get Lewis Hall unless we look like we were going to challenge for titles and Newcastle had like a 10th place finish. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. It's like, like we really want Cole Palmer as the Bruno replacement. It's like realistically, unless Chelsea fall off big time and we look like a competent team again, we're probably not going to get those kind of players.
Cole Palmer's I think he's a year off.
I think because he's a United fan, you've got a boost, but we need to
he's on death row.
Chelsea's downfall, and we need to be competent for it to happen.
He's death row. He's not going nowhere. Have you seen his contract?
It's like 1 million years long. They're going to hold him hostage. Like they'll literally, if he tried to leave, oh my.
I think it can, but I think it's a year too early. Look, if Chelsea don't get European football of the highest degree, and Man United did, and then United again look even more competent the following season, and Chelsea didn't again, then I think you've got a real chance of saying, okay, if you want Cole Palmer, you can go have him.
Test the waters.
The waters a little bit, and he'll push for the move.
That'd be nice.
Who's that?
We gave them Garnacho. 2 years later, they can give us Palmer.
Man, nice. they gave us Mount.
They gave us Mount. But Mount is probably a better player than Garnacho. Mount's just got legs of breadsticks.
Yeah, I think so. I think in a world where we might be able to see Mount in a double pivot, I need to see. I think I want to see it against Brighton. I don't know what you want to see against Brighton. Considering yesterday, I'm just going to go off everything. Agate's more than likely going to play, but I saw Mount and I saw Hobby in that pivot. It gave me an idea of what the future could be. In terms of just sentiments that are so good on a half turn, just quickly. They're not slow with it. They're not Agate. He likes to play sideways or anything like that. They just turn sideways. They literally give the shoulder a half turn and they move the ball forward, and it's quick. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in great positions, and we just didn't finish our dinner. That's where I'm at with that. And against Brighton, who don't have anything powerful in the middle of the field, I mean, I don't want to see Casemiro against Brighton.
He needs a rest. I'd rather save him for the derby because Casemiro's been pretty crap the last couple of weeks. But in a Manchester derby, it's Casemiro from a set piece as well. He's a bit clutch. He's given a good week's rest for the Manchester derby. I'd rather Casemiro play than Agate in the DM role in the Manchester derby. I think we'll see Agate and Manu probably play as the starting 2 midfielders against Brighton. And Casemiro and maybe Maino versus City. I wonder if he tries Ligt in midfield when De Ligt and Maguire are properly back.
See, I think Maguire might come in the next game. I think he'll play him against Brighton. And I'm thinking, and I can't lie, we look better with Harry Maguire on the side, whether you look like it or not. We're better with him at the moment. Because Heaven and this Martinez, I don't really want to see Martinez and Maguire. That's a recipe for disaster. I've seen it before. It's too slow. I wouldn't mind seeing a Maguire and a Heaven together, or a Maguire and a Euro together.
Do you know what? I'd like to see Maguire and Euro. I think they would complement each other quite well.
I think so as well.
And De Ligt being back would be nice as well.
I don't know when is he back? Where is De Ligt?
Who knows? Apparently, because when he got injured, they were like, "Oh, it's a little knock. He's out." So we thought, "Oh, we missed 1-2 games." And he's been out for 2 months nearly. It's been a good month.
Where is he? Still got a back injury.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any updates on De Ligt injury because Maguire's on the way back. I think De Ligt was spotted in grass training or something.
I thought I saw as well. Let me see this. There's one about 14 hours ago. There was an update about. I don't know if you can read. It says here. I'm on Sports Mole, I suppose. I don't know if that's credible enough to kind of.
No idea.
They're saying that they might be back against Brighton. It remains a doubt for the clash with Brighton. They're saying maybe. I don't know.
I feel like I read mid-end January, so maybe in a week.
So back against City. Maybe,
yeah. I obviously wouldn't start, but I hope he's back soon because he's probably been our best player this season before he got injured.
Yeah, this is all we need. We need the next press conference, which is going to be tomorrow, probably with Darren Fletcher.
With all centre backs fit, who would you play?
Oh, for me, the Ligt and Heaven.
Do you know what? I see that actually, because I think Ligt is great, but I think Ligt and Heaven with the pace maybe complement each other better.
I'd actually consider putting Martinez as a left back.
Yeah.
Inverted left back. If you need someone that's going to have that ball that can see, this is where I look at who can help Casemiro's game, because Casemiro's our only functioning DM, right? And I want Colby to go further forward. So let's just say in a world, an ideal world, where's Casemiro and a Colby as the partnership, that whether it's Carrick or Ollie, that's what it's going to be, right? I think in a world where I think Martinez has just got that diag on lock, you don't need that player going further forward, but it might be an issue if you need that one to go forward in terms of helping whoever the left winger might be, right? So that's fine, whatever. The other one is Mazraoui. Again, he can do a bit of everything. So I kind of think that's just like, if I'm thinking of build up a control and a solid back line who's good at 1v1 defending, in my opinion, I think them four are probably the best options. But Luke Shaw, I just don't really want to see Martinez at centre back. I'm just sorry, but I just don't want to see 5'9" centre backs, man. I just don't.
Now you've said it, I see it. Like Martin is at left back. My only concern with Martin as a left back is because we don't really have an out and out left winger. We don't have that overlap. Not that.
But imagine if you get an Mbeumo or an Ahmad that goes on that side, it's a little bit different, I think.
Well, I do think I'd like to see, as you said, Lamon's in goal, Mazraoui right, Ligt left, Heaven de Ligt centre backs, and then you've got Casemiro, Colby, Bruno midfield three, and Mbeumo left. I think maybe Gunnar in the middle just to drop deep.
The false nine.
Ahmad right. I do think that is a pretty nice team, to be honest.
Yeah, it's vibes. It's for me, it's a vibey team. I look at it thinking, you look at all three players, and I think who can really benefit. Bruno, who can you benefit off of? I think he can definitely benefit off the most.
Yeah.
But my thing is that final third is like, we need to be really relying on these three being really clinical. Bruno needs to get in more of the goals as well when we think about his standards of what he pushes towards every season. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind seeing Lissandro, but I just don't want to see him at the back. Not with Maguire anyways. Maybe the Ligt he could suit, and, you know, Heaven can come in, Euro can come in, I suppose, FA Cups and that. But I think Heaven is worth pushing the potential for, especially on that left-hand side, to kind of solidify. He makes mistakes, but he looks like quite a quick learner for me.
Yeah. People have been too critical of him. Like, you got criticism versus Burnley.
It's like his fourth or fifth game.
I was actually like, he can't do anything for the own goal. Like, you can't give Heaven stick for the own goal. Yes, he probably should have scored the other end. But also, versus Leeds, yeah, maybe his positioning could have been better, but look at Delo. I think people are too critical of Heaven. I think Heaven's been very solid since he's come in.
I want to see our line move up as well.
Pardon?
You said it yourself. I want to see our line move up. Against Burnley, you know, against Burnley, we score, and I'm seeing Dorgu at left wing back, basically. And I'm seeing like no one at right wing back, or let's call it wing back for now, because it's too busy kind of cramming the midfield.
We're better when we play higher. Like, even under Amorim, like, we had a few good performances under Amorim, but all our best performances under Amorim were when the wing backs were really high and we were really pressing people in their own halves. Remember Villa game, the last game of the season? Like, we hadn't won a match in 3 months. We just lost to Tottenham. We played Villa. And I don't know if because there was no pressure, he just took the risk. But our fullbacks pinned Villa in their own half. And we played really high. And it was one of our best performances under Amorim. And I just think, and that was what frustrated me under Amorim. We saw bits of a back four. We look better in a back four. He goes to a back five versus Wolves. We know when the fullbacks are higher and we're more attacking under Amorim, we're better. Why did he keep going like defensive, sit back? Like, I know we can't cheat to save our lives. We know we're going to concede every game. So we might as well just play every game attacking. So even if we concede 2, we score 3. Because if we concede 1 and we're still defensive, we'll just won't score.
That's exactly why I don't want to see Dorgu on a pitch at left wing. Because he's naturally, I think he's more, in his mind, he's naturally more defensive than he is probably attacking. So that natural pressure to get up the pitch, it has to come from the wingers as well. I'd actually give Shea Lacey the run against Brighton on the right. I'd give you another, like, you're going to start. You're starting. You're going to go in with Bruno. You're going to go in with Gunnar, and you're going to go in with Sesko. That's going to be the front four. At least then there's a little bit of a knack of thinking, oh, there's a different kind of player on the pitch, you know?
Shea Lacey.
Let's be real, you're up against the Kapia. The Kapia's not, or is it Kajoglu? They're not great defenders, you know? Yeah.
Shea Lacey, that shot, I almost screamed.
Baby Foden, man.
Like, he is Like, do you know what really annoyed me was with Ruben Amorim as well? Because there was people saying, they were like, I told you, Alice, the youth aren't good enough. Look at Fletcher. Ruben Amorim was right. I was like, no, Ruben Amorim subbed on Fletcher to play him right wing when he had Shea Lacey on the bench. I did not get my head around that. We see Shea Lacey, and I know he didn't score.
And it was the wrong Fletcher, by the way. Tyler Fletcher is the more competent attacking player than Jack Fletcher.
Yeah, Jack Fletcher's more defensive. But I was like, we deserved the Shea Lacey goal. If that Shea Lacey goal had gone in, that would have been...
Which one? Because there's the one, you know what? I thought...
Second would have been better.
The second one was ambitious. I thought he should have slipped him one of our players. You know, there was 2 runs and he didn't do it. He decided to go for the shot. But that goes to show the confidence.
I love that.
And it wasn't far off, you know. It was so close. I was thinking,
first one was close. The second one was a bit further, but the second one would have been one of the best goals we'd seen.
Yeah, imagine we're going to go into a world now. Like, now he's done that. If you can go and do something against Brighton, he's like, hold on a minute. You got Ahmad and Mbeumo and Lacey as options. Maybe remember Lacey's a 10.
Yeah.
But I think for his development, he can't go in the 10 yet. He needs to stay out wide.
Keep him on
because I reckon he's a player that could do left or right.
Yeah, he's technically very good. I think he'd be better on the right, but like you've got Ahmad, you've got Mbeumo, you're a young guy.
There's hierarchy on all of this, isn't it? But I think he's someone that can definitely stay within the squad. You look like you're a bit special. It's probably going to be him. I mean, now we got this whole conversation around, you know. Oh, by the way, Sesko. Look, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to be very critical of Sesko. I don't really have a problem with his all-round game. I think his all-round game improves all the time in game. It doesn't.
Yeah, the confidence player as well.
At first, I was thinking this guy's crap because he kept missing these shots because that's what he keeps doing is missing these easy chances for us pretty much every game. Don't get me wrong, he had a lot of chances yesterday. I think he had about 6, 7, 8 shots and 2 of them were goals. But you look at that volley with the left foot, I think it might have been Dorgu again that put it in, or the time when Cunha picked him out and he didn't quite get there with his left foot, which would have succeeded as well if he did it. He loves the turn and that. But there's got to be parts where, for me with Sesko, he's got to be more confident in his own ability because look at his ball striking for both of those. Well, especially for the second goal anyways. But the first one...
He misses the easier chances and scores them.
I don't get it. It's like he's now equaled Højlund's total of last year, which ain't good enough. There should be more for Sesko. I'm hoping he can score more goals, especially in the league. You know, next week, you're coming up against Kusanov and maybe Nathan Aki, maybe that new kid. You should be all over that. They're not that. Yeah. I mean, Kusanov's very aggressive, but he's very into the defender type player. And once he's going through you, he's going through you. I just don't know. With Sesko needs to. There's a rawness I like. I can see that there's a player there that I think I can get behind overall, but he needs to do more as well. I think, especially in the bread and butter situations, which is the headers. Like there was one, I think, I see it yesterday. There was 2 headers yesterday. His kind of header, which was a goal. And there was the one, I think, was it Brentford that scored it? Someone scored a header and there was a lot of power behind it and it went in. Can't remember who was against. Might have been Leeds against Newcastle.
Brentford scored a header, but it was like a really goal.
Yeah.
And then he got a goal the game after Brentford. Who do we play after Brentford?
Can't remember.
We won that game. Sunderland. That was good. He was good in the Sunderland game.
He scored back-to-back, didn't he? He scored against Brentford and then he scored against Sunderland. But for me, he's just his shot selection he needs a coach.
You know what I really like about Sesko though is his movement is 10 times that of Højlund's. Like, do you know Højlund didn't get any service? Don't get me wrong, but sometimes Højlund's movement is so crap that Sesko's made himself get more service lately because I think he makes the right runs. And like I think a lot of people were saying, "Oh, look, Sesko's worse than Højlund." I said, "Look, if Højlund was right here under Amorim ball, like, are you that confident?"
You'd be suffering.
He'd be crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do think Sesko is a better player than Højlund. Like, just from his movement perspective.
Yeah.
I think his mentality is a bit weak, and I think that's what happens when you sign a young guy.
You think Sesko's mentality is weak?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know...
You see the confidence in when he got that goal, how his game was just... He was everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's really need... And most strikers need confidence, but he really needs it, I feel like.
But this is why I would take him out the firing line and put Cunha up there. Let Cunha be the false 9 and let him work off Bruno. Let him come into games that we're maybe winning, Maybe he can, and where they're chasing the game and let him come through that. We need to start protecting some of these younger players as well because of the expectation, which is going to be a big weight on their shoulders. We don't do it enough. Yoro, he's come out the firing line, comes in yesterday. You don't really look at him like sideways. He didn't put a foot wrong.
He's been all right the last few cameos, to be fair.
Yeah, because he's been poor for a section of this season. You know, Heaven, you know what? He looks like nothing bothers him, to be fair. I'm going to be so honest.
He's got
really,
mentality.
truly. Yeah, I think he's got idiot mentality, meaning I think he's not all there, so he doesn't think about a lot. I think he's simple-minded.
Like the Cole Palmer mentality.
Yeah, I just think I think he's so simple. And I was like, you know what, fair play. He just not like Dubois. Mentality's all there. It's just simple, man. But maybe a little bit too simple. But and then there's others like Sesko that we need to kind of get behind. We can't rely on a 22-year-old to get us over the line. That you can tell that his ball striking, his ability to finish needs to improve significantly. And I think they will. I think they can come. I think they will come. There's a game that you're going to fix up against. It's probably got to be Brighton at least because they leave gaps. But
yeah, a couple goals versus Brighton. Confidence.
Yeah. At Old Trafford, it's got to be both games. There's got to be a little bit of a knack for it. But the last one is this Ollie and Carrick race. I think yesterday shows. I know it's down to Wilcox, and if he's got the coaching in him, like you know how he says, "I'm more of a coach." The way I see things. If it's your decision, he has to choose Carrick.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday and I said, I can't go off Ollie and vibes.
But Ollie, Ineos care a lot about perception. People want Ollie over Carrick. The fan base will want Ollie over Carrick, Ollie vibes. Wilcox, Ineos be thinking, what can we do to please the fan base? But best case scenario, you get them both together and they agree to work together. But
best case scenario,
Carrick is better. As a manager, Ollie's obviously got that more experience with his work at United. I think if you can get them to work together, that'd be great. Because I do think Ollie's best work came through a lot of the coaching that McKenna and Carrick did that people forget. And I have concerns Ollie without Carrick and McKenna. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that because I think Ollie's man management is second to none. Yeah. I think people like Sesko, Yoro, especially the younger players anyways, right? He don't have these, he doesn't have the group that down tools. I don't look at this group and think you're a down tooling group. You know what I mean? Yeah. They didn't down tool Amram when they could have done it in so many different situations. I just feel like with Ollie, you've been here, done it. Why do you go to the past? I think going to the past kind of it's quite evident that it never really works out. The sentiment in me, because I love Ollie as well, like not as a manager, but as a player and the way he is as a person, I don't mind it as much, but it's the coaching part. If it's Ollie as a manager that sets up, I don't want to see a Nugarte and Casemiro because that's your new McFred. I think if you're going to come in as a manager, it's because you have Mainu in mind. The club must be saying you have to play Mainu. Mainu is your guy. You're going to have to play him one way or another.
I have concerns with Ollie just because he was a bit stubborn. He ran his same starting 11 into the ground. But then I look at Ollie and I'm like, he came second with Maguire, Lindelof and McFred. You know, obviously, like we also did have some quite good players. We had Paul Pogba, Bruno together was nice. But he came second with McFred, Maguire and Lindelof for the majority of the season. David De Gea was a bit of a liability as well, playing out from the back. Like, I also think when Ollie got sacked, the standards were 10 times higher. Ollie got sacked when he was, 6th or 7th in the league? You know,
after I think it was. The Watford game put us 8th, I think.
But
remember, Ollie brought us from 6th to 6th in that first interim kind of spell.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, though. People got to remember, it wasn't easy. That there was some good flipping teams going on at that time, you know? Like,
yeah. Like Liverpool weren't as crap as they were right now.
Do you know what I mean? Even Leicester was somewhat decent, but somewhat decent. Anyone remember like all the Tielemans era and all that kind of it was a decent team, bro. Like
the league was better in terms of like the top. It was harder to get tops. Like right now, everyone's dropping points. The fact that Brentford are 5th says it all. Like, but back then, you know, not many teams were dropping as many points for like the top teams, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think.
You had Woodward and Merter and Arnold as well to work with, who are just
that's the other part for me. There's you can clearly see there's a support group that Ineos provided for Amrim, and it kind of shows that there is something there. I think the agenda of I hate Ratcliffe, I hate Ineos. It's easy to point the finger at the board. I'm not an Ineos lover like that, but I'm actually pro Ineos.
Better than the Glazers, but I don't like them.
Yeah. I'm pro that, but I just don't think they do enough. I think their decision making is slow. That's my biggest critical point.
Ashworth was a joke.
in the end, in hindsight, when it comes out, it could have been a joke, might not have been a joke, but I think Ratcliffe is too involved. I think he wants it way too much.
Yesterday, 100%.
Yeah. I think he wants it way too much, where it's like, let people just do their jobs. You know, I think Vivel's got a good role. I think Wilcox has got a decent role. Barada is the one I'm looking at and thinking, you might do all the stuff outside, like all the commercials and stuff, but you're proving that you're a bit of a, I don't know about you in this role. Yeah, your decision making as a CEO is kind of proven to be weak at the moment. You know what I mean? You're meant to be the one that overrules what Ratcliffe can say. You are the CEO. You might be the owner, but you're CEO. Where's your balls? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I wouldn't mind in the world where it is Ollie. It'd probably bring Carrick. And even if you brought in like Fletcher, 2 midfielders as your, I think someone just said it in there, 2 midfielders in there as coaches that wants to get the ball forward. I know there's talks of Johnny Evans. I don't think Wilcox is a good director of football. I think he's good in the role that he's at. He can spot talent. I'll give Wilcox that. But I think we need a director of football. We need a bridge. There needs to be something we don't have yet. I know, and a waste of money that was. I think Carrick, though, the issue is that he might view himself as, I am a number 1 now. I don't want to be viewed as this assistant manager.
That's what I'm hearing. Like, he doesn't want to be Ollie's number 2. But I want him to be Ollie's number 2. I saw this morning that there was there's a good likelihood that is the case. But I could see in a world where West Ham take Carrick and be like, cool, if we get relegated, we'll build with you. Do you think this is guesswork from the media, though? Like, one source says it's Ollie, one source says it's Carrick. I feel like no one knows. So they're like, I'll put this article out and say I was right, if I get it right.
We got told, don't you remember? We got told that it's so advanced yesterday. And then today, all of us, suddenly, it's like Man United are taking the time of who they ain't decided yet. Fletcher's now definitely in charge of Brighton. I mean, well, that doesn't tell me that you're going to have an interim confirmed by Sunday. If you still got the interim there.
Ollie for City is like bringing it back. He loves a win versus City.
Oh yeah, he does. But I just don't know. I think it should be. I think for me, logic tells me you go with Carrick. I feel like we need the what's it called, the tactics, and we need the midfielder coach, the one that actually approves of fast play. Look at the way he had nothing at Middlesbrough. They gave him nothing, and look what he done with Middlesbrough. He
done well, and McKenna's done well at Ipswich.
Ollie just got sacked with Besiktas, but I think that was because of a lack of, what was that actually for?
I don't.
Is something to do with the they sacked him because he didn't get through it. They didn't give him back in or something like that.
And Ollie was right in the league at Besiktas, but I think it was the Europa League he didn't do well in, and that's why they sacked him.
So what do people in the comments think? Can we just get one word, like one word names, as in like Carrick or Ollie, or don't say both of them? What would you lot go with? Because I'm so torn, because the sentiment part of me says, yeah, just do Ollie, forget it, you know what, whatever.
I think
the other part of Carrick is the coach.
I think
why can't Ollie come in as a number 2, man?
Ollie for vibes, Carrick for coaching.
Ollie's a liability, Carrick, both of them, and he's just an interim. I'm kind of with that. Oh, Tevez, Carrick, seen Ollie already. Rude, I forgot about him. I don't think he's in the run though. You know what, Rude, the way he played had Ahmad doing madnesses. Roy Keane, I don't agree with the whole shout, because Roy Keane's going to go in it. Oh, I'm a hard man. I don't think that works in today's age of football.
Any experience.
Yeah, what, 15 years ago? What, Sunderland?
Yeah.
Longer than that, actually.
I never get the Roy Keane shouts.
Nearly 20 years ago, someone said Ollie. Johnny's saying Ollie. We know what we're getting into. So Ollie, to be fair, the fact that Ollie does know what it is in the seat is something different. See, this is where this is my thinking as well, Justin, as well. Gearing up to or for a manager that apparently is in a running. You know, you got your 2. See, if you're gonna go with Ollie, it kind of tells me, well, then you should probably go with Tuchel as your kind of go-to, because he's a little bit different. But then Carrick kind of gears up for a De Zerbi for me.
He's similar. How feel about De Zerbi though?
Oh my God, the Lion.
I think he's a good coach. I just worry, like, with the mentality of the dressing room, he'll fall out with them. He's a like Mourinho did. He can cause arguments and beef, which, to be fair, like that manager of a player.
What about Amram? Amram's the same.
Yeah, to be fair. I mean, look, De Zerbi, definitely would be an upgrade on Amorim. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. I feel like if things go wrong on De Zerbi and there's a bit of pressure there, he's just got a bit of an attitude that, I don't know, might concern me a bit.
This is, maybe. Well, I'll ask you before we wrap up anyways. Roy Keane also captained the club for his, but so what? I don't need to show respect. We're saying as a manager, he hasn't managed in nearly 20 years compared to managing Ollie and Carrick, who've had something recent. So there's nothing about showing respect. We're not saying anything negative or poor on Roy Keane. It's just because someone shouts and it's got a hard nature does not mean it's going to be a success all of a sudden. Where's your managerial credentials at least, or experience recently? Who would be your manager?
That's a tough one. Like, if we were being unrealistic, because he will not be a head coach, he wants power. Unai Emery, if you could give him power. But because like at Arsenal, he didn't have loads of power, but at Villa he has.
Okay, with the coaches we've been linked with, there's a few. Who would be your choice? There's Glasner's, there's Tuchel's, I suppose. That's not even a guarantee. You might stay on with England.
I'm not. You know what? This is unpopular opinion. If we bring in Carrick, Ollie, and it goes well, then I would pivot to McKenna, because there's a similar link between them. There's the World Cup. You don't have a lot. It's an unpopular opinion, but
see, I hear it as well. I'm with you. I'm so with you on this part, because I just think I'm with you slightly. I think the only thing is the jump up. I think is it too much of the jump up, and I think that's where I think McKenna's such a vibe shout though. What do you think about? Let me get your thoughts quickly on Glasner and Iraola, because they're the two that are touted quite a lot within the fan base, or within the news of, let's just say, the last 3-4 months.
I'm gonna basically say, I thought Thomas Frank was going to be really good at Tottenham. He's not been, but I look at Glasner and Iraola, and I think actually Thomas Frank's struggling at Tottenham, because at Tottenham he's expected to dominate possession and break down teams, whereas at Brentford he's more transitional. Crystal Palace win the majority of the games when they have less possession. Bournemouth always win and are so much better when they have less possession. Amorim struggled when he had more possession. I'm actually no to Glasner, no to Iraola, because of this possession issue that we have and that Thomas Frank is having. I need a manager that I think can win games and is comfortable having more possession, because Palace are better with less possession. Like, Bournemouth statistically are a million times better when they can transition teams. So I just think, for me, I'm like, you know what? A couple of months ago, we would have said yes because we lost to Grimsby and we were desperate. Looking at it now, nah, I want someone better. Like, even I know they've got Prem experience, but I'd rather Cesc Fabregas.
I think I'm going. I think this is why I choose De Zerbi though, man. Because I just think it's the experience and the knack of going. Marseille's a big club. Brighton, he's worked with a model, I suppose. He plays a certain brand.
I have to work with some dickheads at Marseille as well, so we could do it.
Xavi don't suit. I think it's too risky. I think he would learn what the Premier League's about. You can study it for all you want. I don't care. If you ain't in it, the job, you're not going to get there. I think Glasner's too pragmatic for my approach. I'm tired of crap, boring football, man. Even if he does switch it to a 4-4-2 or whatever he loves. Marco Silva, not a bad shout. Just don't think he's got the
next level in there.
Tuchel, not saying no to it.
Yeah.
The issue is, do you get defensive type Tuchel, or do you get the one that wants to play ball type Tuchel? That's my thing with him.
I think he'd want to play ball, but he won't come because
I think England are there. But remember, the only reason why none of them got accepted was because of Tuchel wanted a small break. They really liked him, but they wanted a small break after the sacking from Bayern. And they did, and obviously Ineos didn't want to give that at that time because we need to go through the summer. And then De Zerbi was they're not agreeing on a financial package. Too much too soon. I think if you look at this United squad now and what we could bring in the summer and what investment in terms of who's going to get sold, what budget we have, maybe European football, if we're in and around it, better be. I think there's something that you can project to these lot and say, this is what we got. What would you like to do? And I think I don't think they'd say no to it.
De Zerbi's a top 3 for me. I would take him over the Glasners, the Iriolas, the Marco Silvas any day of the week. I'd have concerns, but I think if you got him the right players, then I think he could very much succeed. Hertzler's doing nowhere near as well at Brighton as De Zerbi did, and I think De Zerbi did better than Potter. So I think De Zerbi is a good coach.
People, make sure you smash the likes if you don't mind. just double check. Don't be lazy. You know what you can do for any channel. You know, we've been consistent all week. You can also go subscribe to Alice. Some of you might just watch Unavailable or myself, whatever. You know, you can go and watch Alice at any point. She's got, you know, what, 200k channels now.
Yeah, like a million different channels.
Sorry, boss. We're just trying to be like her, you know. We're trying to be like her. So yeah, man. Big up Alice, man. We're gonna be back live later on, not on this channel, but hopefully we see. You know what? Forget it. If you can't beat them, join them. Hopefully Liverpool gets slapped. In a bit. Love.